Rob here from D&D Toy Reviews, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Shodo Super Zyurangers, or as they're probably more commonly known to most of you, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So let's get into it with accessories! Okay, so we get quite a lot of accessories with this set, so please bear with me, this might take a while. First, let's start with the Blade Blaster, sorry. We get 3 different versions of the Blade Blaster. We get the pistol. We get the knife, sword, dagger. And we get just the standard mode here. And they also come with one molded into the holster, but it's just done in plain gray plastic. Oops. Let's get you standing back up, crouching back up. We get an empty holster to swap out on the Rangers. So if you want to have them holding the Blade Blaster, they won't have the Blade Blaster on their side and on in their hand. And to do that, we just pull it out, peg in the new one, and good to go. Of course, for Tommy, or the Green Ranger, we get his Dragon Dagger. Let's get that in focus. Come on, focus. We get the Dragon Dagger molded into the sheath as well. And we also get a spare empty one. So same thing, we can just pull it out and pop in the new one. And now these are molded in hard plastic, so they won't move up to the side to get out of the way when you're articulating the legs, but you can just hinge it back and you're good to go. Let's put Tommy back there for a minute. And we also get a Dragon Dagger for Tommy to hold. We get his big sword. We also get the Rangers' individual weapons. So there's the Pink Ranger's bow, Red Ranger's sword, Yellow Ranger's daggers. And I just sent something flying. Blue Ranger's thingies. And 2 different versions of the Black Ranger's axe. And that is because there's one for him to hold with the narrow handle and the smaller barrel tip, I guess it is, for when it's the big gun. And then there's one to combine all the weapons in. And to do that, we take the bow, we plug in Blue Ranger's thingamabobs. I know that's a highly technical term. We plug in Yellow Ranger's dagger thingies. And their tabs on the weapons are sized to the individual holes, so you know if it's the right one or not, because it will fit, which is kind of a nice touch. Then we can take the bigger axe, and you can see here there's a notch molded into the front here. We plug in the bow, and then we can add the sword on top. And there we have their mega cannon. I forget what it's called. It's been a while since I've watched Power Rangers. But there it is. And we also get 7, well 8 if you count the fists, interchangeable hands for every Ranger. They all have the same amount of hands and the same style. And to start with, we have the fists on them. We get some trigger holding hands, one for each side. So in the interest of time, I'll just show one. There, well, it doesn't want to show you, but there is some nice molded detail on the back of the hand there. Trigger holding hands for each side. We get gripping hands, just a standard gripping hand, one for each side. We get some relaxed hands, one for each side. And I'm sorry, the lighting just doesn't want to show this, but there is sorry, some molded detail on the backs of every hand. We get some flat hands for, I guess, like chopping or something. We get another set of flat hands with the thumb tucked in. We get some splayed finger hands. And finally, we get some more chopping style hands, but this time the peg is molded at an angle, so you can get some nice, angled hands in front, karate posing hands. And to swap the hands out, we just pull out one and plug in the other. And another nice touch is the pegs for the right hands and the left hands, are different sizes. So we'll see if we can get that to focus. You can see the right hand peg is thicker than the left hand peg. It's pretty obvious if it's the right hand or left hand, but just a nice little touch. And there we go, we can get some nice chopping hand action going on. And for Jason, or the Red Ranger, we also get some alternate biceps with a gold band around them. For that 5 minutes in one episode, I guess it is, where Tommy gives him his power shield. So if you wanted to have the Red Ranger with the power shield, you can do that. And to do that, we just pop off the bicep, pop off the forearm, pop the forearm back onto the new bicep, and pop that back on the peg. Now, I would say take care if you're swapping these out, because that is a small peg. The plastic is a little on the firm side, so if you're not careful, you could actually snap the peg off. But that's what it looks like. And I'm not going to change the power shield because it is a bit of a pain to do so. But to do so, you would take off Tommy's head, take off his arms at the shoulder, wiggle things around till they come off. Jason lost his head here. And then you would do the same to the Red Ranger, pop off his arms at the shoulder, pop off his head, and slide the shield down, pop everything back on. According to the instructions, you are supposed to pop off the gold straps under the shield here, but they were in there very firmly and I didn't want to risk breaking them, so you can just pop everything off and work your way around it. Now, the articulation on all of the Rangers is pretty much the same. Tommy here is not even really inhibited all that much by his power shield. But before we get into that, let's talk about one thing that is also technically an accessory, and that is the stickers. They come with a ton of stickers. The holsters, as you can see on this one, are a sticker, and this is probably the worst one to apply, because if it's not lined up exactly right, you will get these folds in the sticker, which is very, very unfortunate. The Morphers, also a sticker. Well, the silver and coin part is a sticker. And each Morpher does have the individual animal on it, but they are extremely tiny, so it's a little hard to tell which is which. However, the instructions are kind enough to tell you which sticker goes to which Ranger. But if you can't read Japanese, well, good luck with that. You also get a spare Morpher that Tommy has for when Jason is wearing the power shield, so you can put that on Jason as well. But be warned, these stickers, once they're on, they do not like to come off. I tried to take one of the holsters off to fix it, and it ended up almost ripping the sticker. So I just gave up and lived with the folds. Oops, so that's it for accessories. Oh, holding the guns is pretty easy too, so I forgot to show that. You just wrap the finger around it. Pretty much anything that is not gray plastic on the guns, on the weapons, is a sticker. And on the Rangers, only the Morpher is the sticker, which is a nice touch. Everything else is painted in. So all this gold, all the diamond shapes, everything, that's all painted. That's really nice. So let's move on from there to
Articulation!
Okay, Articulation, and I keep knocking these guys over. Articulation is pretty much the same straight across the board for the Rangers. So we'll just go through it with Tommy, since he's probably the one that will be affected the most with his power shield, although they did leave a fair bit of gap between the torso and the power shield, so it doesn't really affect the articulation that much. Anyway, heads on a ball joint, so you can get plenty of range of motion, although up is rather limited because of the way the helmet bangs into the neck. Good bit of down. There's also a ball joint that plugs into the torso, but that is pretty much limited to a swivel only. Shoulders are on a ball joint with another, they're on a double ball joint, one in the shoulder, one in the torso, so you can get some butterfly movement going on too, with a pretty good range of motion. Simple swivel for the bicep, single hinge at the elbow that gets us this much, and Tommy is nowhere near as dark as he's appearing right now. He's a very bright green. Because of the peg for the wrists, all wrists have a swivel, but no hinge, which is understandable at the size of these figures. We get a ball joint at the diaphragm and a ball joint at the waist, so we can turn, we can crunch forward, we can crunch back. We get a ball joint for the hip, which allows us to kick forward this much and kick backwards this much, but we also get an SH figure art style drop down hip, which now the hips are connected, so you can't just drop one at a time, but it lets us kick way more forward, not really so much back, and lets us go out pretty much the same side to side. And it does lock in place, but it also makes it so the hips will pop off a lot. You can hear it. I don't know if you heard that, but it does have a locking point. Now, because of the size of these, they do tend to pop apart if you're not overly careful with them. But there's the spread out to the side with the hips up. We get a thigh swivel, single jointed knee that lets us get pretty much a double jointed knee's range of motion, and a peg in the foot so we can get all kinds of motion there. And it's pretty much the same across the board for the Rangers. Now, one thing I want to say before we wrap this up, because oh dear, I've pulled the sticker off. Just because I said they don't like to come off, it's come off. Go and make me a liar, will you? Oh, there we go, we just got it right back on. Because this is the Zyurangers, not the actual Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the Yellow Ranger is in fact the same body mold as the Blue Ranger, Red Ranger, Green Ranger, and Black Ranger. So this is actually not a woman, this is a man. So if you're a hardcore Mighty Morphin Power Rangers purist, well, that's good for the fighting scenes, but it means this isn't actually Trini or Aisha. But not a big deal. I mean, it's not a huge problem. Get them posed up, you won't even notice really all that much. And they do share the same body across the male figures. Oh, one thing I do want to point out with the Pink Ranger, the skirt has a split in the sides, and it's made of a bit of a softer plastic. It is still pretty firm though, so it does tend to hinder the leg articulation. Getting forward, we can only really get that much before it starts to split the skirt quite a lot and put a lot of stress on that. Anyway, that's it for the Shodo Super Zyurangers, or Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed the view, and a massive thank you to all the new subscribers. We'll see you later.